Hey guys, welcome back to Three Swords Productions. If you're new here, I'm Steven and this is Nathan, and today we're going to do commentary over a kind of a special deck. I was browsing through deck lists that online and seeing what was interesting that we could represent on the channel, and I came across a crocodile deck, starter croc, and we threw that together and piloted it against one of the more consistent decks in the meta just to kind of see can starter deck croc really bring the heat against some of the most powerful decks in set 2. So tonight we have Crocodile versus Kinnemon. You ready to get started?
Let's go for it.
Let's go. So Crocodile going to play most of the traditional cards that you would find in Ivankov, that you would find in Doflamingo, but really the leader is different. And I think the leader is very different from the other leaders in the meta.
Yeah, what does the leader do? Sorry.
So you're going to -4 Dawn to be able to bounce a 5-drop or less back to the owner's hand, which is really powerful in the late game where your opponent's setting up blockers or they're trying to like tempo you down. You can kind of have full control over all the things on the board, and that's like your zone.
Yeah, I think that's actually pretty strong. It's going to help you in that late game to really start attacking in pretty easily.
Well, I would say if we were still in set 1, it wouldn't quite be strong enough against the sheer amount of blockers that Kinnemon can represent. I mean, if you guys have been watching the channel over the past week, you know, hey, Nathan can fucking put blockers on the table. But what's really cool is that we actually have picked up 6-cost Luffy, and Luffy's ability is actually going to also kind of aid the Crocodile. So we're going to get to those turns where put a 4-drop back in your hand, but also here's a 5-drop you can put back there too. So we can just wipe 9 Dawn worth of characters off your board, or 2 blockers and swing for lethal. And you're going to come across the table for 6 here on turn 2.
2k out. Yep.
And Mr. Bonkale, huh?
Okiku.
And playing Okiku for 2, really strong Kinnemon ability there, being able to get a 2k out of my hand as well as still keep the pressure up with a 3-drop.
Yep, absolutely.
And we're going to come across for 5 here.
I think taking it versus not taking it is a debate on card quality in hand. And
well, I think in these kind of grindier matchups, you do want to go down to 3 life and then protect yourself there. So the first 2 are kind of free.
Yeah.
Same for me, really. I'm looking to just, the only reason that I 2K'd out of the first attack that you made was because you did it for 6, and I just felt like, hey, that was actually like.
I mean, that's fair.
I'll respect your 6K attack. I was like, this is a man with a plan. We're getting out of that.
All right, so 6K coming in.
Yeah, Akiko being able to pressure my blockers super early is awesome.
Very good. And just making sure that we keep the board clear, attack for 7.
And I am considering, using the 2 cards to get out of this because, one of the things that my deck is going to do is put a lot of 4-cost blockers on the table. So we absolutely need the Mr. 3 here in order to pressure the Okiku to actually get it off the table. And as I say that, he plays another Okiku, which makes it very difficult. We do have leader ability if we want to use that tool to put the Okiku back in his hand. That would get us off these kind of tempo turns where his Okiku is just going to continue to tap down my blockers, but at a huge cost. I'm not sure that we're ready to pay that yet.
I mean, you're also playing 9-drop Mihawks in the deck too, so so you do have to worry about, are these something that I need to resolve this game so that I can.
I
need the Dawn for the later time to be able to cast them.
And we're also looking for Emporio Ivankov as well, because that is also in this deck. So, we want to keep our Dawn higher. In the mid game, it's very difficult for Crocodile to actually use that ability. You have to be really careful with the number of Dawn that you're at right now, but what are you going to go to next turn? What's your opponent going to demand that you play next turn? And yeah, definitely keeping 9-cost Mihawk in hand. Keeping that in mind as you use this Crocodile ability, because it's a big sword, but it's double-edged.
Oh, it's a heavy metaphor.
It's not. It's a heavy sword.
Oh no. All right. Anyways, back to the game. Things to look for on the Kinnemon side here. You can start worrying about doing some Yamato, tapping down what your opponent's doing, using the Okiku to tap down something while attacking that thing. Or you could take a line like play Odin here. Would also be quite good. 7-drop is also fine. Nothing wrong with that. I think Odin's just a bit stronger if you have it available. Otherwise, I think if you don't have any of that stuff, you have to have something like an X-Drake or a Raizo to be able to at least play. Those would be my last options, but would be options probably.
7K coming across at lead and being able to tap down my 4-cost blocker again, very powerful.
Yeah.
And Mr. 3 is really feeling the heat as he gets a little bit dizzy, untapping himself, being tapped by a Kiku, and untapping himself. It's pretty wild. Fun interactions between those two cards, really. Okay, we are going to protect it again, and X-Drake is going to come down to really blow it up. It did cross my mind that you might be trying to X-Drake it. However, I still need to protect it, so you actually do have to X-Drake.
Right.
I kind of feel like you got me for one, but I really need to value my 4-cost blockers a lot because that is primarily what I'm going to be doing in this game. So I need to value that strategy.
Yeah. And in the world where I don't have that, and I instead go commit a Yamato to the table plus play a blocker, it feels a bit silly also.
What's interesting here is I swung with leader on the Okiku and you did 2K out despite me having Crocodile on the table. I would assume you want me to play the Crocodile, or you want me to attack with the Crocodile so that you can attack it back.
Yes, I do.
Mm-hmm. And so I was actually going to put it at 8K to make that attack, but then realized, hey, he actually just wants me to tap the Crocodile, so there's no reason to give him even more than what he's asking for, so I just left it at 7.
And I think that's fair. Yep, and then we see it go away.
Mm-hmm.
Now the Crocodile is tapped, so we can consider pressuring that down.
And like I said, with the 4-cost blocker line, I have 8 Dawn here.
Oof.
I'm just going to go ahead and play 2 of them down.
Yep.
It's going to feel pretty good, but that is now 3 beefy blockers from me, so...
And with that, now the line that I was setting up with the Crocodile attacking looks a bit silly because I'm not going to be able to reach that thing.
Well, the Inazuma is also basically online. You see I have 3 cards in my hand, and all of them counter. So I can block the Inazuma and then discard 1 or 2 cards, make it just enough to be 7K there.
This is also the stage of the game where things like X-Drake start to look a little bit silly because you can just bounce them back to my hand with your ability. You can just start keeping my board clear. To really come in with these attacks. So I do have to worry about committing enough to my board that it's going to be able to stick around with this Crocodile ability.
Well, we're still the density on board is still a little bit light on the Crocodile side. I am thinking about, is this the time for me to use my ability or not? But the buggy there is kind of a wait. It looks like it's doing something, but it's actually, it's not.
Sure.
And the Mr. 3 is always a 5K, so we're not quite at the stage of the game yet where I want to feel, I want to feel like I can start using my ability.
Mm-hmm.
And there we go. There's an Odin to really pressure the board state here.
Yeah.
So Odin says, if you were to attack with your board of 5 or 7Ks, Odin's going to do his job damn well to clean it up.
Definitely very nice to help clear out the blockers and clear the way in so that you can start attacking life. It is a little rough that you're at 3 life right now. I can't start really pressuring your life with it. It's a bit disappointing there. But,
So we're going to make this attack with leader to kind of get cards out of your hand and push you down a little bit weaker so that we can make that alpha strike on the following turn. Luckily for me, I did pick up 9-cost Mihawk right off the top of the deck for this turn. That's going to let me contest the Odin quite nicely, and we're going to be able to put the X-Drake on the bottom of your deck, as well as keep up the pressure here. Punk Gibson down the Inazuma. I should have actually played around that. I knew you were going to Punk Gibson. It was just like absent-mindedness.
Yeah.
I should have swung with the Inazuma first. Because if you tap down Mr. 3, it's not quite as powerful as tapping down Inazuma.
Right, because you can just untap with
it. I can untap it, yeah. 100%.
Yep.
So that was definitely a misplay on my part.
So Crocodile coming in. We see the Mihawk come down. And Mihawk is obviously strong, but, still have the Odin out so we can start really pressuring down, hopefully, a little bit of what's going on. And you do untap the blocker. Okay.
Yeah, we definitely want to have as many blocks as possible so that you have more to think about with your Odin. You don't have a lot of card selection in your hand. However, you do have some powerful effects on board already. So.
Right. And being at the lower-ish life total I'm at here, I do have to start worrying about, he's got enough attacks to really just kill me, so I will have to play to the board here. I can't just swing out, especially with him still at 3 life.
And this is really where Crocodile's going to start to shine. You're going to try and play things to kind of gunk up the board here, and I'm going to sort of like say, nope, we put those back in your hand.
Right.
Let's go. So I do have 1 card in hand here.
And knowing that, I am going to be swinging in a way so that he can't counter out of these things. I need these characters dead. I don't need cards out of hand. So considering the amount of Dawn to attach to the Odin, and I will definitely always make it active again with its ability. And then just debating what I need to play afterwards with all the Dawn that's left over. So attacking 5k.
So you're swinging for 5 on the Crocodile Leader, and I did just take that card because I need more cards in my hand, and
Yep.
I think I'm pretty safe from dying this turn. Also feel like I'm going to pressure you. Now, the top card of life was 6 cost Luffy, so I know that I need 2 cards to get out of that, or to play the Luffy.
Right.
So I'm going to be thinking about if I discard a card to protect a card on my board, um, and then you swing on my life again, I'm probably going to try and take that. I definitely want to make sure that after I draw for my turn, I still have enough cards in my hand to play the Luffy ability to get rid of, anything that might get in my way.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to be thinking about that as I'm calculating taking damage or protecting my characters. How can I keep 2 cards in my hand to play this Luffy on the table?
All right. We are still considering our attack here, debating on which things we should be going towards. Having 2 cards in hands means that the Inazuma is back down to being a 5k. So we also know that as part of our calculations here. And it looks like we are just going to... Oh, nope, opting for the 9k attack.
I like 9k a lot. My blocker is 5k. And going 9 on Inazuma.
Yep, that means if 2k out of your hand, plus having 1 card in hand, puts Inazuma up to 9k.
Yep.
So we're still safe with that.
We're going to block here.
Yep.
And then we're going to go
up.
Are we going to see 9k go back to Inazuma? This time it went face. So we gave up on the Inazuma because of the blocker, and now you can put me down to 2 or 1. I think it's 1.
Yeah.
Which actually feels pretty good when you double Beige.
I think it's pretty necessary to get you down to 1.
Yeah. I don't think you can end the turn with me at 2.
No.
That opens up so much, especially since, last turn I vomited out 2 blockers.
Right.
So you can be a little bit worried about that. And we draw the Ivankov. We also have Love Beam and another 2k in my hand. So we were pretty set on this Luffy play, and then we drew Ivankov, and that kind of messes things up a little bit.
Yeah, with such a full board, it's also difficult too.
So we're trying to figure out how much Dawn do we actually need. Can we get by with 3 in order to play the Ivankov out and then use the Ivankov ability to put the Luffy out? Or is it better to say, hey, we might actually survive the next turn, so let's keep the Ivankov in hand so that we can try and draw 3 cards. There's a lot of different lines, though it's only 4 cards.
Yes.
So blue just being incredibly intricate and always just an interesting deck to play.
Okay, and now we get to consider the options of how much do we want to swing face versus control this Odin. If you can bounce both blockers here with all of your abilities, do we it looks like I'm at 3 life there, 2 life? I can't exactly tell. Black cards are so difficult to see. I think I'm at 3 life. At 3 life, it gets a bit difficult when you're committing 6 of your Dawn to playing the Luffy. So I think you'll probably have to control the Odin here, is the play we'll see.
Definitely going to want to control the Odin here. We have a couple of large attacks to make, but we do want to use our Crocodile ability, so we're going to play 6 cost Luffy, and then you're probably going to see the -4 leader ability to put the other component back in hand. So we're trying to just make sure that we know what we want to discard here. And that's going to go back in hand. And now we want to leave 2 mana open for our Love Beam, which makes the attacks on the Odin kind of strange. Because it is very counterable for him. So we're a little bit worried here.
The Mihawk should be able to get above, I think. I think I have probably about 4 or 5 cards, and we know 2 of them are Beige.
2 of them are Beige. We can go 8k and swing once on the swing with Inazuma here.
What was the decision on using the blocker for that? Oh, Punk Gibson, I have 2 mana open.
Yeah,
I see.
exactly.
Yes, the 2 Dawn is definitely the reasoning there. Be a bit of a blowout otherwise.
Yeah, we lose a whole attack, or the potential for 1 attack here.
Right.
You are representing the Punk Gibson, so we want to respect that.
Debating out of my hand if I'm able to counter out of all these attacks.
And you 2k out, so that's a pretty good sign for me. We only have 1 more Dawn, so we are going to have to go... we could go 10k or we can go 7k, 9k.
I think 10k is fair with so little cards in hand, and we know a couple of them that it's probably an attack that gets through. And yeah, it looks like it gets through pretty quickly there, so wasn't even really a decision. Go search up the Okiku.
At that point, I think we called your bluff on the Punk Gibson.
Yeah, no, you did. It was I was a bit open. It was a bit free to keep the Dawn open, and attacking with the Inazuma means that I can now pretty easily swing in on you as a leader. Oh, and we have a trigger. Oh, and Inazuma is dead. Paradise Waterfall
Paradise
trigger.
Waterfall. Okay, you don't see that trigger come up often, but when you do, it can be really powerful. I'm actually happy. I'm not happy to see my character just die like that, but I am happy to see a trigger off of your life here, as it means that on the following turn, if we make it that far, you will have one less card in your hand to defend. So
Yeah.
although it did take out a 7k attacker. So
I think the thing
big.
to worry about here is your life, unfortunately, but you do have lovely beam to get out of this.
Yeah, swing 7k, you were kind of playing against the Ivankov deck a little bit there.
Yeah.
And expecting me to have only 2ks in my hand at most, so you swung 7k so I couldn't get out of it, so you can make that very last push with all of your Dawn.
Yeah.
And instead it was a love beam. Unfortunate.
It's just bad play. Attacking there for 9k is just gonna be better. Even if he can counter out of it, then he's at least countered out with that card.
Swinging 9k means that I play love and then hope to draw 1k, so I could still get out of 9k. Same situation there. You could make Okiku an 11 for 6 Dawn and have 5 Dawn left over. But then you're in the same position on the next
exact
attack.
Same position,
because of love.
Yeah.
Not a great way to deal 2 damage to me that turn.
Yeah. Plus, you would take the life card then, and you'd have an extra card in hand.
Mm-hmm.
But the love was also good because you drew a card, which means that even if I don't attack your life, you're still gonna have 2 cards for Luffy, which is gonna play with my blockers in a way that I'm not happy with. So that was really such a good card here.
Yeah, love, very powerful. But I don't think that it was the misplay that you thought it was, just because if you actually think about it, I could actually love and then draw a card, draw a 2k and go up to 11k. So it's kind of hard for you to commit enough Dawn on the Ikiku to get around that.
Yep, I agree.
And we are holding another Luffy in hand.
I don't think it matters. I think this turn will just be trying to kill me. At 1 life, you have an option for a total of 5 attacks. You'll probably only do 4 of them, but...
So you're swinging really big here with the Luffy because we don't have really anything else to spend our Dawn on this turn, and we want to burn the Crocodile effect, which is just going to lose Dawn. So I'm kind of considering, hey, this 4 Dawn is basically free. We also assume that you're just going to block it because the Crocodile ability is coming down, so why not just block, right?
Yep. And that's exactly what I did. Is there a world where you Crocodile first, even though not using the Dawn? You would... Even if you weren't using the Dawn, let's say.
Yeah, I mean, and that's totally fair. It would be a 7k attack there instead.
Yeah.
But now I get to keep the Dawn. Yeah, I think it's totally reasonable either way.
I don't think it super matters. I think
you're right though. It could be more correct to just use the Crocodile ability. But that would take an amount of discipline that I clearly did not have. But the disrespectful win, anyways, got there in the end.
Crocodile.
Happy to see Crocodile from starter deck. Crocodile, one of those things when the pre-release events happened, Crocodile was like the most dominant starter deck. It was super good. And then as we transitioned to set 1, Crocodile completely fell out of favor to the Dofi. And then start at set 2, Dofi's out, Crocodile's out. But just kidding, 3 Swords Productions representing all the Crocodile players out there. All right, guys, if you're still here, thank you so much for watching the video, and please hit subscribe to the channel. It's so important to me. And if you like the video, hit like. If you want more content, hit the playlist on the screen right now, and we will catch you for the next one.